So recent weather in our state has emphasized the need to be prepared for emergencies, not only for people, but for their animals as well. Emergency Animal Response Service, or E.A.R.S for short, is a newly formed organization that helps with animal emergencies as well as pet preparedness. Joining us now is John Nowinski, the Operations Director, and Kathleen Sherman, an animal rescuer, and we have Rosie the goat here. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hi.
Hi there. All right, John, tell me a little bit about E.A.R.S and the mission.
Well, E.A.R.S really developed over the past 2 years. There's been several of us in our group that have been involved with animal rescue for many years now. But in the last 2 years, as you mentioned, there's been a really increase of weather issues in Connecticut, and a lot of them have resulted in animal emergencies. Everything from barn collapses to fires, to this past blizzard where people just couldn't get to some of their animals. And what we found was there's a great response for people. There's not a lot of response for animals. There's a gap there. So what E.A.R.S seeks to do is basically fill that gap and try to really address the issue of animal emergencies.
Now, Kathleen, you rescue animals, correct?
Right. We've been rescuing animals on our farm for about 12 years now.
And that's how Rosie came to be a pet?
Well, Rosie wasn't a rescue originally, but as she grew older, she has a deformed face. And so now she's a rescue because we have a lot of high maintenance animals. So she has a special diet, and we have to be very careful about what she eats and what she does. But she's great because she works with, we have a therapeutic program with special needs kids, mostly autistic, and she works with them, and her being different makes them feel better.
So, John, I know that you have an emergency preparedness kit here. Tell us what's in it, more or less.
Well, this is actually a combination. Pretty much everybody on the E.A.R.S team has this kit in their vehicle as a response kit. And people at home should put together a kit similar to that. It doesn't have to be as big as that, but have things like extra leashes, collars for their animals, paperwork for their animals. A lot of people don't think about keeping that, separate. But even with shelters that do allow animals, you do need to have paperwork. So having that separately is good. Also having things like a collapsible bowl for food and water. Those are actually in there. We carry those around as our rescue team because when you are rescuing an animal, they're stressed. A lot of times they do need water, things like that. So having that available is really helpful.
And what type of animals are you rescuing? Anybody? Any kind?
Pretty much the larger animals. There's a lot of great groups in Connecticut that focus on dogs and cats. When you get into larger animals or even small domestic animals like sheep and goat, there's not a lot of groups that can respond to that. So that's really our focus, is basically everything from a Rosie size all the way on up to horses and even cattle.
Kathleen, let me ask you, how important is it to have a program like E.A.R.S, being that you have so many animals?
I've been involved in rescues when the barn collapsed in Bethany. I was one of the first ones there. And it went well. All of the horses survived. But I have to say, it was pretty chaotic trying to figure out what to do. This would give it's kind of a platform to start from. There'd be an order to how it would be done. We didn't have that. It was a little hectic. It worked out, but it could have been done better. We're going to figure out how to do it better.
All right, work in progress, right? Now, I understand, John, you're going to be having pet preparedness events throughout Connecticut. Tell us about that, please.
Well, that's starting in April, hopefully with warmer weather. And what we're going to do is we're going to have members of our team there to basically answer people's questions, just like we're doing here. But we're also going to have handouts for checklists for what people should keep on hand. As I said, a lot of people think about preparing themselves for emergencies. FEMA suggests 3 days worth of supplies. A lot of people forget about animals need that too.
That's true.
So we're going to be handing out supply lists that people should have on hand, a couple suggestions on how to make your own pet preparedness kit, as well as have people like Kathleen, myself, other members of the team who will be there to be able to talk about what technical animal rescue is and the type of things that we do.
And I understand you are looking for some volunteers?
We are, and we're actually open to all volunteers of all ages.
Great.
There is a training process for our emergency response team, but anyone can get involved. And one of the things about working with the farm up in Bethany is that we have the wonderful opportunity to expose people to animals. And so they can learn about animal handling on all levels.
Sure.
And we have kids involved too with our events and things like that.
Sounds fun.
Right.
I think Rosie was smiling at me. Did she do that ever?
Rosie smiles. She's a really good girl.
She is, yeah.
She's one of our outreach animals.
And she's a fun personality. Sometimes goats are stubborn.
No, she'll do anything a dog does. She'll dance for cookies. She follows me all over the farm. She's a really good girl.
That's pretty fun. All right. Well, thank you for bringing Rosie. Nice to have you guys here. And for more information, you can go to our website, WTNH.com, and just click on Style.